And the broadcast is live. Phil Tarrant, Tom Panos, Real Estate Exposed. How you going, Tom? Good?
I'm good, Phil. How are you? How's your week been, and how's REB's week been?
REB's week's always good. There's a lot of headlines floating around at the moment, so go and check out some of the doozy ones there today, realestatebusiness.com.au. Hey, we're pumped, Tom. We're gearing up. We've got our, as you know, Women in Real Estate Awards, Friday, 10th of September. If we're allowed to have more people in there, I reckon it'd be droves. Everyone is pumped. Everyone's excited to get out and start connecting, engaging, and letting their hair down. The timing's perfect as we run into the end of the year. But we also have Tom, and it's the nominations are out now. Get involved. The REB Awards 2022 is on Thursday, the 3rd of March, 2022. And if you want to get involved, go to realestatebusiness.com.au and you can find out how to lodge your nomination to be part of that awards program, Tom, which will be very big in 2022.
Is this what's this? The REB Top 100? Is that the one?
No, REB Awards, the REB Awards, which is a whole of industry awards program. Big night out in the city.
What day's that event?
3rd of March, 2022.
That's on a Friday?
Thursday night, mate.
Thursday night.
Yeah. We find that Thursday's the best for real estate agents because if they wake up with a sore head, at least they're doing it on a Friday rather than being on the ground on Saturday. But maybe in time, Tom, one of the things we'll chat about today is we might be, as real estate professionals, working on Sundays moving forward. So maybe a Thursday is probably the right time, or a Friday night. Who knows? But how you going on, mate? What's happening?
Well, it's I have to tell you, there are sometimes small elements of COVID and the world we came from. But generally speaking, if you're a Sydney-sider right now, you're doing pretty much everything you did before March 2020. You're going into pubs, you're going into restaurants, you're going into gymnasiums, you're doing your Bikram yoga, you're out and about as if nothing has happened. Shopping centres, well, yes, you wear a mask. Sometimes I actually forget that it's on, a little bit like AirPods. They sort of get on you and you actually don't know that they're on you. I know that they're on me now because I can see myself in the screen, but there are many times I'll sit there and they'll be on for hours and I have no idea that they're on. And I think masks are a little bit like this. I've said it before, but Phil, a small group of people actually look better with a mask on anyway. So I don't think there's a big deal about that. I've got to tell you, on Saturday, I actually had the combination of online and Zoom. I had with me my computers in the car, and I would do some on-sites, then I would do some onlines. Funny thing, Phil, the best result was the Zoom auction, 400,000 or 350 over reserve on a $1 million property. And I found it really difficult convincing the agents / the vendors, hey, listen, we've advertised it as an online auction. Why complicate it? They said, no, let's go online. Let's go offline. The one person that said, no, we want to stay online, ended up hitting the jackpot. The others didn't fare too bad, Phil, But what's becoming really clear, Phil, I did auctions last night. I'm doing auctions tonight. I'm doing auctions on Saturday. I did auctions last Saturday. I'm doing auctions on Sundays, right? I'm actually on my way to next week to do the block in Melbourne, which is my first interstate trip. Looking forward to it, and a big shout out to the two boys, Luke and Josh, two brothers on the block. Have you seen any episodes of it, Phil?
Nah, look, I've watched the block beforehand. If it's there in passing on TV, I might have a quick look at it, but it's just a bit of reality TV. Not my thing. Well, my biggest concern with the block, it's a good bit of TV, by the way, but putting that aside, and the drama, and it's well edited, and it's very watchable. I think that the issue is a lot of people frame property investment around what they see on the block, and I must say, being a property investor, for most property investors, it's not the block. It's something very, very different. So don't think that's what you want to shape and frame your property investment journey by watching the block. You're watching it for a bit of fun and theatre.
You're
Might
watching
be.
it because you're watching the block, my friends, because there are creative, intelligent people that have learnt the art of getting eyeballs on a screen. And if you get eyeballs on a screen, you can actually then go to an advertiser and say, we have X amount of people looking. Give us some money and we'll make sure that they look at your stuff and not just the block. So they've done that very, very well. But I actually
Mm.
think, Phil, the actual model, whoever created it, man, it was a robust model. You buy real estate at a specific price, you own it, you get them to renovate it. It's not like the people that are the contestants get all the real estate. Man, they're getting, money for stuff that goes beyond that has been renovated. And in the meantime, they create content which is highly viewable for some people, obviously not yourself. And I don't watch the block either. I've hardly watched any episodes in the last 10, 15 years. I keep my eye out occasionally as I walk through the corridor, and it's on when my daughters are watching it. Hello, Angie Dunn. Angie Dunn, well, I'll just interrupt what I was saying there. Do you know that Angie Dunn, and it's something that I thought Angie Dunn worked with, Angie Dunn is a sort of person, everywhere I went as a manager, Angie Dunn would come with me. So she changed a number of organisations, and it's good to see you, Angie. And I think you see that happening all the time, Phil. And I'm expecting that to happen over Christmas. Because let me give you the heads up, Phil. There's a lot of movement at the station, and it's all being schemed as we speak about right now. And this is just giving people the heads up. I know that many of you are actually organizing as we speak what you're going to look like mid-January. It's the time of year, Phil, where people make decisions. So I must speak to Grace, your editor there, and let her know that she should be keeping a lookout because there's going to be a lot of changes across town. People changing brands, people opening up offices, and more so now, Phil, than ever before, because people have been having good times in real estate, so they're feeling
Mm.
bulletproof. They're opening up offices. They're taking the plunge.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what's
which
happening.
is great, but everyone's talking about it right now. They call it the Great Resignation, right? There's just some numbers I saw that 1 in 2 people are going to change their jobs over the next period of time, and that might be, moving from employed to self-employed. It might be for real estate agents changing the name on the door. It might be setting up your own shop inside of businesses. They're saying that unless organizations are providing the flexibility that people now require, they'll move on. They're talking about how this is one of the key outcomes for this is for business owners, that there may finally be some wage growth for Australians. It's been pretty flat, and this could be a big driver of it. So yeah, there's lots going on, Tom, and don't worry, we've got our people out there at Real Estate Business. We've got our ear to the ground. We know what's happening. We get more rumors, probably more rumors and insights and off the record type commentary than you do, Tom. I know you are the repository of all things real estate, but I reckon our intelligence network's as good as yours, mate.
It's probably better. I think I just have. I mean, the group of people. One guy rang me up today and he said, "Tommy, I'm sorry to do this." He goes, I pay you a monthly fee, but it feels like I only call you when there's a drama. And he goes, "You're more like my panic button person." So I thought to myself, that's what I actually do, the panic button coach. When the crisis is there, all of a sudden, hey, who do I call? Ghostbusters.
Tom Buster.
Um,
That's not a bad
yeah,
thing to do, right? Like, the fact that people call you up if they're in a state of flux, and you can just most people normally know what they need to do if they're in a period of uncertainty. But it's good for just to have an opinion which is unbiased, right? Rather than your own best interest in heart, just to run it past. So I think it's really smart, and get on the phone. I don't know. How do you subscribe, Tom? Realestategym.com.au, I imagine. You can get you on speed dial.
Realestategym.com.au. Having said that, Phil, one of the most defining times of me as a trainer that taught me something was about 15 years ago. I went to I won't be specific with the locations, but let's just call it Southeast Sydney. And I ran an event, and it was actually for News Corp. And at the end of the event, One person remained behind and came up to me, and he said, "Have you got a moment?" And I said to him, "Yeah." And he goes, and I knew there was. Look, I knew there was something not quite right. But the long and short of it, Phil, is this guy woke up that morning that had made the decision he was going to commit suicide. But he's and I got to tell you and our listeners and viewers, he's well and he's doing reasonably okay. I wouldn't call it setting the world on fire, but he's doing reasonably okay many years later. And he said all these things in his life had gone belly up. His employer had said, "We've got a training session. We all need to be there." And he'd made the decision that what he was going to do was go to the training session. And then he was going to get into his car. And he actually did have the tools that were going to kill himself with him, and that he was going to end his life. And by coincidence, Phil, it was a period, and I'm not sure, the first 2 years I was a closet about cancer, but I would openly talk about things like, that difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations, and that you shouldn't get caught up and realize when things are terrible, they don't normally last like that. So I ended up the conversation like that, and that was the only bit that resonated with him. Obviously, a guy that's about to commit suicide is not interested in the latest scripts or dialogues or what marketing is going to get you a listing presentation or how you can actually negotiate and get a buyer up. What you're looking at is things like, hey, my life's about to end, and all the fear that goes with it. And I just spoke about the fact that I'd been in a dark spot myself. And I spoke about the fact that, eventually even the worst clouds go away and sun does appear. Sometimes it takes days, weeks, months. And he actually said that he'd made the decision that he would not cancel his suicide. The words he used was postpone it. And the good news. Oh, and by the way, Phil, on another subject, if anyone has ever got to talk anyone out of suicide, there is research out there that sort of says that sometimes the best strategy is to just buy time. If you buy time, things happen. If you can actually delay the thing from happening on a Wednesday to a Friday, help comes in, people's view changes, family gets involved. And there's a very famous person called the Angel of the Gap. Have you heard of him, Phil?
Yeah, I think he passed away recently. Lived up there at the top of the back of Vaucluse there, didn't he?
Exactly right. That's the man. And he had a home that was opposite the Gap. And what used to happen is that he would go out and he would make himself a cup of tea and just sit out in his veranda on his old house. And he would often see people come up and actually plan their suicide, jumping off. And for those of you that aren't in Sydney, the Gap is Sydney's most famous suicide spot. And he would casually just walk on over, and he would say, I think his name was Don Ritchie. I think it was Don Ritchie. He'd say, hey, I just live across the road there, and I noticed, you were loitering around here. Is there any way I can help you? And what would often transcend is a conversation, and then he would offer them a cup of tea, and he'd say, let's go and have a cup of tea. I just live over there. They don't know exactly how many suicides he intercepted, right? But it's quite incredible, just the human connection and Don Ritchie saying, how can I help you today? I tell you what, I think it was a godsend to have him end up owning that property. The amount of
some things are meant to be, Tom. You can't explain it. But one of the best things we've done as a business this year is that all our sort of senior leadership and managers did mental health first aid training, like proper detailed courses where we had to sort of study for it. We had to do a huge amount of coursework, and then there was like, a lot of tests and quizzes and stuff to pass through it. And a lot of it, and we sort of had a really good debrief as an organisation subsequent to it. And a lot of it you sort of already know is sort of instinctive, how to go about dealing with these type of things. But some of it for me was really enlightening, and I'd like to think I'm a lot more skilled now in just being able to, identify when some sort of intervention might need to take place and what to do about it. And it sounds like the angel of the gap. That it sounds like he's written the rule book. He's written the textbook on how to effectively deal with these type of things. And I absolutely encourage anyone to go and do the same. Look, it costs money, but that's irrelevant when it comes to some of the lives that you may be able to improve and even save. And some of this is pretty full on and quite confronting. When you look really deep into some of the mental health challenges that people have. And to your point, the clouds do part at a point in time, and difficult paths typically turn into really good destinations. Some of the best gifts come badly wrapped, Tom. It's something that I learned from you many years ago. So I reckon go out there and do it. There's got to be something you can do in yourself for self-improvement. Go and do a mental health first aid training. And I'd probably get your organisation to do it.
Phil, it is a skill set. It is a skill set. Obviously some people might be able to adapt to it and, execute support better than other people. But, example, I was having a conversation this morning with someone that's terminal in real estate. This person's got terminal cancer. I've learned, because I have done some training, is what you don't say to a person that's terminal is everything's going to be fine. Because what you're saying to that person is, well, what they're interpreting is, how would you know? You're not a doctor. You don't know my prognosis. You don't have the facts. So you don't say that, right? Because you lose credibility with that person. And the second thing is you don't say is, I know what you're going through. Because most of the times you are actually going through it. So a far better thing to say is, I don't know what you're going through right now, and I don't know exactly how this thing is going to transpire. But what you need to know is that I'm in your corner, and I'll be thinking of you, and I'm here, whether it's a practical thing to do or an emotional thing. You can rely on me, right? That is a far better thing to say to someone that is terminal than sort of saying, no, you'll be okay. My uncle had cancer and he got over it. Well, hello, what cancer is it? What stage is it? Where has it progressed, right? What has the doctor said? And why does your view be more important than the view of a specialist, right?
Yeah. But, if we had one takeaway that from the course that I did, Tom, and is very much sort of consistent with that, is that your job, really, the role that you play is just being able to listen. And if you're able to get someone talking and you could listen to them, that there is a big part of the process. And through that sort of understanding, by listening to someone, you can actually use your words, your language to get them to get the right help that they need, considering where they are at the moment. So that's a skill. But I think that should be on everyone's list of things to do in 2022, Tom.
Okay. Now, Phil, I want to talk on the subject of post-COVID. We talked about it last week. DocuSign, lots of different technology, software and applications that agents have adopted, the hybrid auctions. But one of the things I've noticed is that we've learned to throw the rule book out the window. We no longer care about things that were, but that's the way we've done it. Well, we learned with COVID that just because you've done something doesn't mean you don't have to change it. We learned that you could actually change an event in 7 days. We learned that you could bring forward an auction in 1 hour. We learned that you could lock down the country in 3 hours. We've learned that speed allows you to do things that we thought to ourselves, oh no, it doesn't work that way. Well, one of the things that I want to put out there is, are we going to start seeing Sunday auctions? Are we going to start seeing Sunday open for inspections? Are we going to start working with the consumer in mind and work backwards? You said to me off camera, Phil, like Saturdays, it's funny because on the one hand, it's Super Saturday, open house day, auction day. But for many families, Saturday is chaos between sport and shopping and everything else that goes on. Do you have a view on, the Sunday opens and auctions and weeknights. I'm doing auctions tonight. I did auctions last night,
Yeah.
Do you have a view?
Well, I absolutely have a view. The first view I'd say is that as an auctioneer, you obviously want to be working every day. So you want to encourage Sunday auctions so you can get a paycheck every day of the week. But mate, it should be on Sundays. Like, why isn't real estate a 7-day a week job? Why isn't it a 7-day a week industry which services the consumer? Would I like to be buying real estate on a Sunday rather than a Saturday or during the week? Do you know how hard it is to get to an auction midweek, let alone on a weekend? The only reason why, if you go back, Tom, and you probably remember this, when they started to allow weekend trading for shops. Remember when Saturday and Sunday shops were closed?
Yes.
Nothing happened. The only reason why they didn't open up sooner was because the unions were trying to protect staff from working on those days. Hence the reason why
Right.
rates and all this sort of stuff. It was a structural issue rather than a demand issue. So is there a demand for auctions to take place on a Sunday? I reckon absolutely there is. Because to your point, Saturday's a hard day, mate. To get people to do stuff on Saturdays.
Yeah. So here's my view. The real estate industry, I think, likes to have the Sunday off because they work very hard during the week.
Yeah.
And there's a view that, hey, if no one opens up on a Sunday, it won't be a competitive advantage to one agent over another and everyone's happy. But on the other hand, I think to myself, every time I look at a business model that works, what they do is they start with the client that pays the money and they think, what's going to be the best experience for that client? Because if we can give them the best experience, we will actually win share of wallet. Because if we win share of heart, we win share of wallet, right? So you start with that premise. And I'm beginning to think to myself that on a Sunday where the tempo is a touch slower and a family can walk into a home and look at it, actually suits the buying decisions of real estate. So John McGrath has always said that, I remember sitting at a meeting with John, and the only people that I was for it, John was for it, but we got a lot of kickback from real estate agents saying, hang on a second, we're working long hours during the week. We don't want to have to work on a Sunday. And my view is not every day is worth equal. A Tuesday and Wednesday, you might work it, but the value of those 2 days might not be the value of a Saturday, Sunday. And if it basically means that you've got to reinvent yourself and the way that you actually have your leisure time and that you choose to actually take time off in the week. So I think that we might be going down this.
I like it, Tom. Look at hospitality sector. Hospitality sector, yeah, it's a 7-day week industry, but most people in hospitality work between Wednesday and Sunday. Monday and Tuesday are off because there is not a big appetite for hospitality during those periods. The same thing should apply for real estate. Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And, these service-based industries, are you going to start seeing lawyers work on Saturday and Sunday? Are you going to start seeing accountants work on Saturday and Sunday? If there is a demand, I think demand should always trump the personal preferences of the people inside of it. You can do anything now. You can do your banking on a Saturday and a Sunday because it's all accessible via the internet, where once upon a time you couldn't do any banking on the weekend because bank branches were only open between 10 and 4:30 every single day. You can buy anything you want any time of the week, any time of the day, 24 hours a day now. So this is the way the world's going. Technology is enabling this. It's enabling the capabilities around it. And let's be clear, maybe that's what Zoom is for real estate at the moment in auctions. Maybe that is the enabler for changing the way in which auctions happen. To your point, Tom, and what'd you go 30% over reserve on a online auction? See, there's something, mate. There's something wrong there. That's a lot over. Was that under marketed, underpriced? Is it just the? I don't want to have a chat to you about stock levels rising because. Are you going to be able to retain these sort of these prices over reserve, considering the amount of stock, which, from what I understand, is flooding back on market, Tom?
The word flooding is one of the reasons why we're having the conversation about weekend auctions and weekdays is because of the stock levels. at levels that we have not seen. Now, I've got to tell you, I'm surprised at how strong prices has held up, Phil, because whenever you see an oversupply of listings come in at the one time, you normally see the absorption rate change, clearance rates drop, you see days on market expand, and I haven't seen that. I mean, prices are still strong. Having said that, I did 20 auctions on Saturday, and out of the 20, 11 sold out of 15 on Saturday, and one sold out of 5 on the Sunday. So that's 12 out of, 12 out of 20, right? 12 out of 20, which is not 80%. I think that's lower. But the prices are good. Stock levels are, and let's be clear, I think it's not an economic thing with the listings. I think what it is that there was a lot of people that waited to the end of the lockdowns to put their properties on the market. So this coincides with the opening up of open for inspections, on-site auctions, and people moving within more than 5 kilometres. I think stock levels are going to sort of normalise as time goes by. But Phil, there's nothing to indicate that the marketplace has dropped. I'm keeping an eye out on APRA and what had happened with that, but it appears that most of the buyers that are operating in the marketplace at the moment are people that had approvals done prior to the APRA decision, right? So, Roxanne has just asked this question here: will APRA cool down the upgrade market? Will it cool down the upgrade market? Well, I think, Phil, the way real estate works is a first home buyer affects a first home vendor, and the first home vendor becomes a buyer as an upgrader. So there is a domino effect. But at the moment, Phil, man, things are holding up. I mean, it's always going to happen, because if there were 20 people on a property and you've lost half of them, there's still 10 buyers, Phil. And you get a result with 2 buyers. You don't need 10 buyers to get a result.
Yeah, and I look forward to watching out how this plays for the rest of the year, Tom. What is it, sort of 8 weeks to Christmas now? So it's going to be a lot. It's going to happen in real estate. And I think people are going to be selling property all the way up to the 24th of December, no doubt, because of the demand in the market. Are you finding, what do people like at a on-site auction, Tom? Are people sort of weird about personal distancing, physical distancing? Are people sort of getting involved? They're packing in. Any concerns at all?
Lots of masks, even though you don't have to in an external auction.
Is that harder to get a read on it? Because as an auctioneer, you can't really read the play as well. Because I know you're a big student of what do you call it, non-verbal communication.
Very, very. Obviously a mask covering the nose and mouth actually affect a lot of the body language. It's a really good point. I mean, you can't see someone smiling with a mask on, right? Because a smile is normally, coming from the mouth, right? So it is a real issue being able to read the play. The chances of that sort of being able to be more transparent diminish with masks on. But to answer your question, Phil, people are social distancing. People are wearing masks. And the laws are that if you hold an auction inside, people got to be vaccinated and they've got to be wearing a mask. The laws are external auctions. You don't have to be vaccinated. And you don't have to wear a mask. I think good real estate agents are wearing masks, even externally. And the reason why is you can go in and have a close contact conversation with a buyer and seller. And I think that if you don't have a mask on, whispering to them doesn't allow you to actually do that, right? People feel uncomfortable. But Phil, we're going to keep out. We're going to keep it is. Listen, there's 56 days to Christmas. And all I'm telling is every client of mine that I'm having right now, say goodbye to your husband, say goodbye to your lover, say goodbye to your wife, say goodbye to them, and tell them you're going to see them on Christmas Eve. Because in real estate, we've got a thing called OND FM. It's not a radio station. It's October, November, December, February, March. That's where the money is made in real estate. And the good people, they actually work through right till Christmas Eve. The bad people, what they do, Phil, they basically are sitting there saying, when's the first Christmas party opening up? When's the first party? They're thinking on the social aspect of things. But as far as I'm concerned, Phil, I'm working through to the 24th. I'll be doing auctions right till the Saturday, the 18th, and I'm going to be working through. And I know that you're one of the hardest working people on the planet, right? And but you're going to have a Christmas party this year.
No, we've pushed it to the corporate one. We do a thing called MCon for Momentum Convention, where we take the whole company away for an offsite in a rural location where we all stay overnight. We do all that sort of stuff. We've actually decided to move it to Jan, only because, well, one of the main reasons why is because we've got such a busy period running up to then, where the last thing I think people want to do is like go to more events after they've just gone to about 30 of them working at them. So we thought we'd kick off. We're going to do that for the Monday and Tuesday before Australia Day to get the team together and reconnect and re-engage for next year. So that's our Christmas party. We'll do some of the more localized stuff. The teams will get together for maybe a couple of drinks and a good feed. But yeah, me and you need to do our Christmas party, Tom. Property Christmas party.
Yeah, we'll do that. We might actually we might do a show together when me and you together with a glass of wine or a glass of Canadian Club Dry. Or a beer. We'll do it together. I'm looking forward
Let's do that.
I'm looking forward to that, Phil. I've started being a little bit more social, but Phil, it's always a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to that first RE. I'm really looking forward to the REB Women's Night. Right,
yeah.
First time out, dressed up. Is it a black tie event?
Black tie.
That's Phil. Can I ask you? Does black tie mean black suit, black bow tie, black tie, or does black tie in 2021 mean that a suit with a shirt? Just get the record straight for me.
Okay. Yeah. Black tie. Black tie means a tuxedo. It's not a black suit. It's not a black suit. It's a tuxedo and a black suit are two very different things. So it means tuxedo. It means bow tie, tuxedo. Is what black tie means, and the equivalent for the ladies for black tie would be, sort of cocktail or ball gown type of thing. It depends sort of what the event is, but that's pretty much black tie or black tie equivalent for the ladies.
Okay, Phil.
That's Google men. Google what is a tuxedo, and they'll help you out.
Okay.
All right, mate.
I'll go.
I know you're a snappy dresser. You always like to be on cue, so.
Yeah, black tuxedo. We're talking about the vest and the bow tie.
Well, you can go to town and have a vest or a cummerbund or suspenders, whatever. You can accessorize in different ways. I'm not a fashion expert, but
nice polish, nice shiny black shoes.
There you go, paint leather shoes. Yeah, the whole kit and caboodle, mate. Dress up. And to be fair, Tom, this is going to be when most teams these days are going to be getting together because they're so busy working. They'll see each other at the REB Women in Real Estate Awards on Friday, the 10th of December.
All righty, Phil Tarrant, REB and Real Estate Gym coming together every week, giving you Real Estate Exposed. Love to know. Sunday auctions. You're going to be able to post in our Facebook, both on the REB and the Tom Panos Facebook pages. Love to get your views on whether you believe open for inspections on Sundays. I can pretty much tell you, if I opened up a real estate office myself, I'd be looking for competitive advantage.
Well, maybe, mate. Maybe this is our opportunity, Tom, to create Sunday being a time of real estate. You can send your hate mail to Tom if you want your Sunday off, but it's the future.
All I get asked on a Sunday, Phil, is what happened with real estate. I'm telling you, Sunday day, everyone is just obsessed with what's the clearance rate, what's sold, what did that go for, right? What was it? Is the market still good? It's the talk of the town on a Sunday morning. Maybe we do a Sunday real estate show. All righty, Phil.
See you,
Signing off, everyone. Have a great week.